Party's Aleksei Yaroshevsky spoke to a known eurosceptic, the head of the UK Independence Party, Nigel Farage, and he believes the days of the Eurozone are numbered and that people should withdraw their money from its banks before what happened in Cyprus happens elsewhere.
I think investors should be worried all over at the Eurozone, particularly the southern Eurozone. I mean, I've been pondering for years, what would happen when Spain finally went bang? How would they possibly deal with the sheer scale of the bailout that would be needed, which perhaps would be 500 or 600 billion euros? How could this happen without huge American support or global help? And of course, what Cyprus has done is given us the template that what they will do in future is they won't bail countries out, they'll bail them in. And they'll do it by stealing investors' money, by taxing people on their properties, and by forcing central banks into selling their holdings of gold. I mean, this is a truly astonishing situation.
But if this plan is giving the green light, will the people who are affected will actually accept it?
Well, in a sense, they may not have much choice, because if their money is in bank accounts and literally that money is stolen from them without them having to give their consent, then it's difficult to see what they can do. So my advice to people is if you own property, if you've got money in bank accounts in the Eurozone, get your money out before they come after you, because it's perfectly clear that is their plan heading on from here.
Mr. Farage, we've heard some harsh criticism coming from some European parliamentary members against the Troika conglomerate, some of them saying that this entity should be even dissolved. Would, in your opinion, that fix the problem?
It's quite right that there should be criticism of the Troika. I mean, it's quite extraordinary that, that into all these countries that are in trouble with the Eurozone, they've effectively given up parliamentary democracy and handed it over to a very arrogant Troika. But it's all well and good for members of the European Parliament to criticise the Troika, given that they make up a third of that Troika. I would much rather see, rather than hot air from parliamentary colleagues, I'd much rather see them supporting my plan, which is to get the European Commission next month in this building, and let's have a motion of confidence debate in the way they've behaved as part of the Troika.
Mr. Farage, my final question, just briefly. Do you think this current economic crisis in the Eurozone could somehow lead to a hypothetical collapse of the whole European Union?
There is absolutely no way that the Eurozone can last forever. They may keep it going for a few more years by invoking ever more extreme measures, but ultimately the Eurozone is going to break up. It may not be the economics that break it up, it may be civil disobedience or violence on a very large scale that eventually gets some of those Mediterranean countries out. And after that, I think the big question then is, well, what is the European Union for? And I think that the alternative model that a growing number of people in the EU are talking about, which is a Europe based on cooperation, a Europe based on trade, a Europe based on nation-state democracy, I think that vision is one that can only grow in support as the years go by.